Welcome back to World of Rockhounds. I'm Kyle. So today we're going to be going over on how to use a slab grabber for your lapidary saw. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so this is a slab grabber. This is an adjustable tool that you can use with your lapidary saw that will allow you to get as many cuts as possible out of a rock if the rock is the right shape. Or you can use this on rock that has already been previously cut to get more cuts out of it. For example, we have here a cut thunder egg, and let's just pretend I wanted to get some more cuts out of it. Well, that would be kind of hard to do already, and without having to try to fit in the saw. So with this is pretty adjustable, and all you have to do is make sure the screws are nice and tight. Tighten down these nuts here and chuck it up on the saw, line it up, make sure everything's nice and straight, and turn on and get probably one more good cut out of this. And that's how this works. However, we're not going to be cutting this thunder egg today. We're going to be cutting this piece of wood. So this is a piece of petrified wood that Carol wants slabbed up so she can make into some really nice cabochons or cabs, and then she'll most likely wire wrap those. And so we're going to try to get this into here, and like I said, this is pretty adjustable. With these we can use either a Phillip or a flathead, and then to tighten down these nuts here we would use a 9/16 wrench. But every part of this is adjustable. You can take out these, you can put them up here on the ends, but I think with what we want to do today, these will be fine. And so let's go ahead and get this chucked up. Alright, with a little work, we got the rock in here. It's very secured. I tried grabbing it, pulling it, it's good in there, which is great because we don't want this coming loose in the saw. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to be cutting this. We're going to be doing slabs as much as we can get out of this as possible. So today we're going to be using my 12-inch saw, this is actually the loudest one I have. I think there's something wrong with the pulley or the motor there in the back. Either way, can't really afford to fix it right now, and also too busy to fix it. So it's a little bit of both. But I would use my other saw that's actually outside. But right now it's covered with ash with everything going on. So that's kind of out of the question today. So today we're going to be using the 12-inch saw. And we're just going to chuck this puppy up. Will this work? So what I'm checking is to make sure that this back part here, which this is part of the carriage, since I'm using such a small space on here, I want to just make sure that this is not going to hit the back before it has a chance finishing cutting the rock. I definitely don't want it to be touching the back, but I still have the chain for the auto shut off, and I'll be setting that before I actually start the saw back up. Well, should finish cutting right about there. Let's go ahead and set the chain here. Should do it. Goes any further. Make sure I'm unplugged. Okay. That'll do. Cool. So, let's go ahead and get this into place here. Bring it right next to the blade. Back it off just a hair. And see here, everything's set. Go and close this. Alright, saw is now live. Here we go. Let's see what we got. Nice. Let's it up. That's what it looks like. Not too shabby. A little dark on the inside, but I'm sure with time that will brighten up. Let's go and back it up a little bit more so we can adjust it. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it was 4. Let's double check here. Let's put the right thickness. And one thing I noticed with this saw compared to my other saw I have out back, this one cuts a lot faster than the one out back does. The one out back takes a long time. And I have a theory that it has to deal with the coarseness of the thread on the drive here. This is a pretty coarse thread, and I think the thread that's on the other saw out back is a lot more fine. So let's go ahead and get this started up. Alright, I noticed I was out back pulling weeds out of the rock bed. Noticed that was making the sound that I was cutting, so it sounded like it was done. This is gonna be some really awesome stuff. It's dark right now, but it'll brighten up. Alright, let's go ahead and back it up a little bit more. So you had 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we had on 5 turns. 5. Yeah, 5 turns. Let's go and get this back in place. Back it off just a hair so it's not touching the blade. Just work good. Get this closed back up. Away we go. Alright, the saw stopped again. What I'm noticing is that the cuts are not looking complete. There's chunks missing. Hello, I have a fracture. Yeah, so that'll happen. Not a big deal. But I can see from my angle here that there's a fracture right there. So that's where the stone's breaking off. Which is fine because you could probably still make a cab out of that, like a triangle cab. But let's go and do our turns here. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 turns. Just make sure. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and finish off these cuts. And then we'll meet at the desk to show what we got. And I'm almost willing to bet that I'm going to have to do some fishing in this oil to find the other pieces that are broken off. So that's going to be fun. Go ahead and close this off. And away we go. Alright, we're done with the last cut. So we've got, let's see here, 4 slabs and 1 end cut. Let's go ahead and, actually I'm going to go ahead and unplug this saw. Don't bump it on accident and turn it on because that'd be really messy. Saw's unplugged. Let's go ahead and loosen this bad boy up. We'll go ahead and get the rock out of the grabber here. just like that, the rock is free. Let's go get this washed off. All right, all the slabs are all cleaned up, washed off and ready to go. So we ended up with 4 slabs total. This is the first cut, just the nub, and then this is the butt cut, which I was going to try to get one more cut out of it, but it's pretty fractured up, and it most likely would have not survived one more cut. And it probably would have broken apart, actually, in the slab grabber, and at that point would have had a chance to fall apart in the saw while the saw was going, and I didn't want to risk that. So we stopped at 4 slabs. Slab 2, that's where we started seeing the fracture was breaking off in the saw. Slab 3, that's where we got even a bigger chunk that kind of came off. And then somehow slab 4 made it through, which is awesome. But it looks like it almost didn't. There is a fracture right there. And it just goes to show that you don't know what's on the inside of a rock. You don't know how solid it is. You don't know how stable it is until you actually start cutting into it and you can actually see what's going on in the inside. Which I'm sure that Carol will make some awesome cabs out of these and even maybe potentially wire wrap some. So I'm excited to see what she does with this stuff. I mean, this stuff is actually quite awesome looking. Again, this is petrified wood that Carol collected herself. Alright, and that concludes today's video on how to use a slab grabber for a lapidary saw. And until next time, rock on.